Today in the news, a judge blocks Texas's repeal of straight ticket voting, and Dallas approves a $3.8 billion budget that increases police spending, and the City of Dallas's hospital capacity report. Today is September 28th, 2020, and this is Dallas Weekly. Hello, I'm your host, Patrick Washington, and this is Dallas Weekly News. A federal judge Friday blocked Texas from eliminating straight ticket voting, a decision that would allow for choosing one party's entire slate of candidates in the November election that is now less than 6 weeks away. Most states don't offer straight ticket voting. Texas has for decades, but Republican Governor Greg Abbott signed a law removing the option in 2020. The measure was pushed through by a GOP-controlled legislature that argued the change would encourage voters to weigh down ballot races and cast better-informed ballots on Election Day. Democrats sued over the change in March, pointing towards long lines in Houston on Super Tuesday when some voters waited more than an hour to vote. They said the law disproportionately hurts Blacks and Latino voters in big urban counties where longer ballots result in longer wait times. U.S. District Judge Mariana Garcia Marmolejo said amid the coronavirus pandemic, which has claimed more than 15,000 lives in Texas, the state should not risk making voting a longer process. Republican Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton did not immediately react to the ruling, although an appeal is likely. Judge Garcia Marmolejo said claims that voting machines couldn't be reconfigured so close to the November 3rd election were unconvincing, doubting it will be as onerous as Texas claims. The lawsuit was filed in federal court along the Texas border in Laredo. Abbott signed the law repealing straight ticket voting in 2017, a year after President Donald Trump won the state by 9 points. But that same election also saw Houston and Dallas continue shifting more solidly in Democrats' favor and ousting more local GOP office holders. The lawsuit was one of several voting challenges filed by Democrats in Texas leading up to the November. Republican leaders have refused to expand mail-in voting in Texas during the pandemic. Next week, the Texas Supreme Court will hear arguments in a case that will determine whether Harris County can spend mail-in voting applications to more than 2 million registered voters. The City of Dallas City Council approved a $3.8 billion budget for the 2021 fiscal year that includes increasing police spending by nearly $8 million despite calls for cuts in department's funding. After meeting for more than 12 hours on Wednesday, the overall budget of about $3.8 billion was passed by a 9-6 vote. By contrast, the budget was approved unanimously last year. The debate was over the general revenue budget, which makes up more than a fourth of the overall budget and represents the discretionary spending that the council can actually change. The fund includes salaries for police, fire, and city hall employees and departments. The police department budget will increase from $501 million in 2020 to $509 million in 2021. Local activists had brought forth a counterproposal to cut $200 million from the Dallas Police Department budget, but that received no support. The final vote came hours after a grand jury decided not to indict officers for fatally shooting of Breonna Taylor in Louisville, Kentucky. Councilmember Lee Kleinman voted against the budget, saying the council missed an opportunity for police reform. Council members also voted 11-4 to approve an amendment that cut police overtime by $7 million. They chose that over Eric Johnson's proposal to cut salaries at City Hall, a move that he has called defunding the bureaucracy. He voted against the budget. Despite calls to defund the police departments, Houston and San Antonio have also increased police spending by $20 million and $8 million respectively. And now the City of Dallas's hospital capacity report. This has been Dallas Weekly News. I'm your host, Patrick Washington. You can find these and more stories at dallasweekly.com. You can also follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And as always, if you can, please stay home, stay safe, and we will see you again tomorrow.